Hi class, in this video I'm going to go over Clinical Field Experience C, Instructional Planning. So now we're at our third clinical field experience, and it's time for you to start implementing some of the strategies that you've learned. And so for this activity or this field experience, you're going to want to implement one or more of the instructional strategies that you put on your topic for field experience that help develop math vocabulary to enhance your mentor's lesson. So you're thinking about now, how can I get students to use vocabulary strategically? So, any of those that you identified as good strategies for developing math vocabulary can be implemented in your example lesson. Your strategies should include opportunities for students to justify and explain their mathematical thinking. It should include one or more interpersonal communication activities, such as how are students working together in pairs or small groups. And then it should also include some writing and using math vocabulary being taught. So you're going to ask your mentor teacher if you can please teach and support with a lesson and add in a few strategies to the lesson she's planned. Once you do that, you're going to um, write a reflection on observations and your implemented strategies. You're going to talk about how those activities fostered problem solving, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. And then you're going to reflect on what was successful and why it was successful and what you think you would do differently in the future. I know in the virtual classroom, collaboration is a little harder, but how can we enhance what our mentor teacher is already doing to make collaboration more feasible? For example, you might assign students a collaborative activity where they work on a Jamboard together. Or you might have used breakout rooms in your Meet or Zooms so students can break off and work together on a problem. Let's go ahead and take a look at the template I created to support you in writing up your field experience. So I do include some red text on here that can be deleted. This is just the assignment directions copied and pasted in here. And then the blue kind of talks about some modifications you can make. So if you are using videos and you've been approved to use videos throughout this field experiences for this course, you can, for this one, teach elementary age children you have access to in your home, or you can watch the videos. So if you want to try out the strategies, but you don't have a school placement, you could use your own children, your nephews or your nieces or your grandchildren, and you can start by teaching them a math lesson, and you're looking for those opportunities to have them use vocabulary, justifying their thinking, and some of those things are in the assignment. So, when you're planning for the lesson, make sure that you're giving those opportunities to justify and explain their mathematical thinking using those interpersonal communication activities and the math vocabulary. The first part of your write up is going to include the summary of the field experience. I want to know what you did. So make sure to explain your school, your grade, your placement, the lesson. And so explain some of those observations that you've made in those 4 hours, as well as kind of the context of your own teaching. If you are using videos, make sure you include multiple videos and talk about several of the videos that you watched. After you explain a summary of the lesson, then you're going to reflect on those observations and the things that you implemented yourself. So discuss how your activities fostered problem solving, critical thinking, communication, and collaborations. Discuss what was successful, why you think it's true, and what you do differently in the future. Make sure when you're summarizing those field experiences, you explicitly tell me which strategies you did. So, for example, I had students use a Frayer model to go over the word sum. They wrote examples and non examples, and they defined the word sum. And so that way I vividly can see what those strategies were. So that when you get down here to the reflection, you can talk about Wow, that Freya model took a lot longer than I expected. In the future, I might use it for only one or two really important words, or I might have to try to make it an editable document in a Google um, slideshow so students can easily write on it because they didn't have a copy at home and they're trying to write um, on a blank piece of paper and it took too long. So you might have some of those reflections, but I need to know that you use the Freyer model. So make sure you tell me that up above. Now let's take a minute to look at that rubric for this assignment. So we have our summary of the field experience, which is just asking that you vividly detail the math lesson and the strategies used. We have our reflection. And so I really love reflection. It shows growth, but make sure you use these words. How are we fostering problem solving, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration? I am looking for you to talk about all four of those things in your reflection. And then mechanics. Just make sure that you use your spell check, run it through loops right, and if you see errors, fix them before you submit them. If you have any questions as you are working on clinical field experience C, don't hesitate to reach out.